From the Wayne County Courthouse in Goldsboro, North Carolina, Wayne Goldsboro Television brings you the meeting of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners. The meeting begins shortly with an agenda briefing, then the regular meeting will begin soon after. Please stand by for the Wayne County Board of Commissioners meeting.
Good morning and welcome to our April 4th Wayne County Board of Commissioners agenda briefing. Chairman Pate will not be with us today. He's had a little day surgery. He'll be back next week. We wish him well and a speedy and full recovery. And we'll start the agenda with, at 8:30, we'll convene the Wayne County Board of Equalization and Review meeting, administer the oaths of office, and then we'll recess the Wayne County Board of Equalization and Review meeting. Be a call to order. Invocation, I'll have Justin Smith from Faith Free Will Baptist Church here. And Commissioner Daughter will have Pledge of Allegiance. We have a special recognition of Mr. Efton Sager, who receives the Order of Longleaf Pine. We ask for approval of minutes. And Mr. Wood, will be discussion adjustment of the agenda.
Right. We've got a couple of things. One is we need to add as number 6, or I believe number 6, we'd like to add a motion to authorize the county manager to negotiate an architectural services contract with MHA Works for an evaluation of the current health department. And I've got a memo that she's running off now. And as soon as we get that, well, that may be these. Let me see. Yeah. Let me go ahead and give these out. Carol.
I'll do that.
Just to go over this briefly, this is a recommendation on hiring an architect to evaluate the county office building for possible renovation as the health department. The facilities committee has been working on the components of a facilities master plan, and in looking at that, I listed the 6 items that we still have to go on. The committee determined that before it can proceed further on the health department, the county needs to employ an architectural firm to determine which option is the most financially feasible, a major renovation or a completely new building. If we assume that after the Maxwell Regional Agricultural and Convention Center is completed, the current USDA building could be used for DSS, and by demolishing the current North Carolina Cooperative Extension office next door, an additional building could furnish the remaining required space, then the county office building would be available totally for the health department. In keeping with this directive, we've issued an RFQ for architectural firms to perform such an evaluation, and if the current COB is not suitable for a major renovation for the health department, to determine if it could be converted to other office space. We received 7 responses from interested architectural firms. The RFQ emphasis was put on experience with major renovations, as well as their experience with medical-related facilities. The RFQ was written so that we could employ this firm to do the evaluation, and if we later chose to do so, the renovation or new construction design work as well. In this way, we don't have to re-advertise for that work if we are satisfied with the firm's work. We had a selection committee of Assistant County Manager Craig Honeycutt, Facilities Director Kendall Lee, Public Health Director David Madden, Purchasing Manager Noel Woods, and me. We also invited Public Health Chairman of the Board, Bob Cagle, who is, as y'all know, an experienced professional engineer, but his schedule did not permit his attendance. The 5 of us have reviewed all of the submittals individually, and then we met to evaluate and score them as a group. We selected 4 firms for interviews, which were conducted last week. The selection committee recommends unanimously to you that you authorize me to negotiate a 2-phase contract, with the second phase at our discretion for full design, with MHA Works of Greenville for the project as outlined above. They have a great deal of experience in major renovation work on older buildings, most notably at East Carolina University, where they have done multiple jobs. And they have a great deal of experience in healthcare facilities, including the North Carolina Cancer Hospital in Chapel Hill and other projects for UNC Healthcare. In addition, they designed the Pearson County Health and Human Services Building in Roxborough. So that would be our recommendation to him. We'd like to add that to the agenda so that we don't lose another 2 weeks in trying to move forward with this. And again, the recommendation is unanimous on that.
So does any board commissioner have any discussion or adjustment of the agenda? If not, the next item would be public comments.
Mr. Chairman, if I
Yes.
could. Borden also needs to add a couple of things. We need to accept the deeds for Meadow Lane and Southern Wayne High School, approve the agreement with the Board of Education to allow it to act as our agent in the construction of the new Meadow Lane and Southern Wayne gym and classrooms, and also to approve the lease of these schools back to the BOE. This is very similar to what we did with Grantham and Spring Creek Middle Schools. So it's the same, basically the same documents we did there.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
are you going to need a motion on that?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Can you write that out for?
I'll give you this. I asked him to do
It
the
sounds
same
like
thing.
very inclusive, so you better work.
It's important enough, I asked him to write it for me. Okay, so we would need to add that also as item 7 under new business.
And the Board of Education approved those last night.
Very good.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can we let Commissioner Cromartie make the motion on this Southern Wayne gym?
John, I defer to someone else for that one because I want to do the one up here about number 1 on the unfinished business, Mr. Chairman. So I don't want to hog the show this morning. And since Joe has to have it, Joe has to have it written out, he's already got his eyeglasses tuned up to read that. So
I wanted to get you to doing something before you get in on that hospital down at Southern part of the county.
all right, John.
That died in committee, Mr. Bell.
What was that?
I said that died in committee.
You talking about the emergency room?
Emergency room.
I wasn't gonna start on that, but now since y'all brought it up, I mean, since they brought it up, I might come down and do 4 minutes down there, Mr. I might come down there and do 4 minutes.
Ed, we on a tight frame.
Are we being recorded right now?
Yes.
Well, that's all right. Since John bring up some other stuff, I just want to, in addition to thanking Ms. Lee for doing the prayer for me, the invocation last meeting, I just want to announce that there are certain people that I admire, and she and her husband raised cattle, and that's admirable. They have some beautiful, healthy cattle. But I was riding past there yesterday, and this is where you know that a farmer has taken something to another level. He's got 2 mules or donkeys out in the field. Now, guys, raising cows is one thing, but when you got 2 prize mules or donkeys that's also accompanying your pasture, that says that you have moved to another level. So Ms. Lee, I'm sorry for embarrassing you this morning, but you know, sometimes you just have to do stuff. And I admire small farmers. That's the backbone of America. And some of our farmers are sort of disappearing, but thank you all for hanging.
Okay, so we've added number 6 and number 7. Is any more to be added? If not, we'll move to public comments next, followed by a presentation of Wayne County ABC Board Manager Mike Myrick, followed by a presentation by Morrow Schillinger of Geosyntec Consultants on behalf of Duke Energy for and Map Division. And Chip, I hope you'll be here just in case there's questions. I think the presentation's pretty well set, so we're good just in case. And then we have appointments committee report, And next will be unfinished business, and I ask Mr. Wood to start with unfinished.
Okay. If you go to page 31, this regards the old Carver High School facility in Mount Olive. We all toured it several months ago. It's still owned by the Board of Education, but leased to the town of Mount Olive for recreation and other purposes. The town has expressed an interest in acquiring the property from the Board of Education to continue its use and also to prepare it as an emergency shelter. That would give us a shelter south of the Neuse River that did not disrupt school attendance. I've talked to Dr. Dunsmore, and the Board of Education is prepared to deed the property over to the town of Mount Olive. As you know, the county has the right of first refusal on the disposal of any school property. We have no need for the property, and the town needs it for its recreation and after-school programming, as well as for an emergency shelter. And given that, I recommend that you decline to exercise your right of first refusal and endorse the Board of Education's deeding it to the town of Mount Olive. And that is the motion that Mr. Parker prepared for you that Joe has. Anybody have any questions on that? I think this is something we've all been anticipating. We've just had to work through all of the issues on it. You want to add anything to that, Board?
And Mr. Cromartie, you're going to have the motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, the next item is a motion to approve resolution calling for a public hearing in connection with the financing of certain improvements for the county. If you look at page 32, this is the notice that you will be calling for that today. And then on page 33 is the actual notice of public hearing. You notice that it says not to exceed $47,900,000, but they always bump it up. We're still looking at the 42.3 that we talked about. They like to do this just in case something comes up, they've got a cushion in there.
We have
$5 million?
Yes.
Do we have someone to make a motion on that? Everybody jump at one time.
I do.
Okay. All right. The next item is the consent agenda. Do you want me to go ahead with that?
Please, do you think we could knock this out now, or we have time, or?
I think we've got time now if Allison can make it through there. You want to go ahead through them?
Okay, for budget amendments, the first one is for the sheriff's office. And the sheriff is here. He's I think that's him coming right now if anybody has any questions. Requesting to appropriate funds for the purchase of armored vehicle. This will be coming from concealed weapons, fingerprinting fees, and seized property monies. And I believe there's a memo attached to that. For the social services, $1,680.50. This is for the Duke Energy Neighbor Fund, and they are just adjusting to their funding authorization. For social services, $14,705.85. These are Work First funds that came in under the road program, and that should cover us for the rest of the year on that program. For the sheriff's office, reallocating $6,000 from their SWAT ammunition line item to SWAT equipment. This is to purchase bulletproof vests for the SWAT team. And he is here if anyone has any questions about that. For social services, $83.70. This is for Piedmont Natural Gas Share the Warmth program, and they are adjusting to their funding authorization. For 4-H, $10,000. They are appropriating some of their fund balance from prior year's fees that they've had to kind of beef up their after-school program. They're going to try to get some more participation in that program, so that's to purchase supplies for that. For the Law Enforcement Separation Allowance Fund, this is an accounting, a budget amendment required for an accounting transaction that has to take place per our audit due to a new GASB requirement that came out that we had to comply with as of June 30. We are having to move the funds that our law enforcement separation allowance is accounted for from this fund 783 to the general fund. So we're just simply moving it from one fund to another to comply with those requirements. For services on aging, $3,960. These were additional funds received under the SHIP grant, and there's no county match involved in that one. And then for EMS net, these are to appropriate funds for the insurance renewal, and that's due April 1st. And there was a few different reasons for this, but mostly we've added staff and we've added vehicles, as you know, to those programs. So our insurance renewal did go up a bit. And call volume increase, I believe, was the other reason for the increase.
Anyone have any questions on any budget amendments? If not, Mr. Wood, can we package number 2 and 3 with this consent agenda and get it out of the way?
Absolutely. And very quickly, this Hale Artificer Inc., to use pyrotechnics, the law requires that you review it and that you pass a resolution authorizing it. And so our inspections department, you have a memo from Steve Stroud, everything's in order. So we recommend you approve that. And the second thing is to motion to approve North Carolina DOT request for addition to state-maintained secondary road system. This is a small road they're wanting to add to our system. This is the standard way we do it. So we're recommending approval of that. And that's everything on those under the consent agenda.
Anyone have any questions on 2 and 3? If not, could someone commit to making a motion or a 9 o'clock meeting on the consent agenda?
I'll be glad to make that motion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you want to go to new business?
Please, sir.
All right, under new business, we have a motion to authorize the Wayne County Development Alliance to begin the necessary studies and cost analysis on Lot 1 for the Mount Olive Industrial Park for a future pad-ready site. We have a letter requesting that from Bob Carnegie, who's the chairman, on page 68. This also shows on the next page the layout of the property out there, and you'll notice we have an arrow pointing down. If you look at the bottom right of that page, it's parcel number 1, and they're recommending that you do that one as for the pad mounted, for the pad ready site. And this will be paid for by Wayne County Development Alliance, just like they're doing out at the Park East on Lot 8 out there. Does anybody have any questions on that one? Okay, the next one is Wayne County Recognition Day for National Service. And I don't know that we need to read through that, but it's some of these different agencies, foster grandparents, senior companions, and AmeriCorps volunteers, and some information on how many hours they donate, and that sort of thing.
There will be someone here to read it from.
Yes, there will be.
Okay.
And actually, we changed it so AmeriCorps will come out of, it's just local stuff. There is nothing to, that was a mistake that had been left in there when she first sent it, so.
Oh, okay. And the next thing is a motion to adopt a proclamation for Gardening Month in Wayne County. You have that resolution in the packet on page 72.
And Jessica Strickland will be here for that.
Okay. And this next one, we probably need to go into more detail on in the regular meeting, but this is a motion to authorize the county manager to negotiate a contract with an architect or engineering consultant to develop a master plan for the public safety training facility on property owned by Wayne Community College. We have a few minutes now, but I'm not sure I would have time to go through that. But I'd like to, if you don't mind, wait until 9 o'clock for that. And then the next thing we have, which also...
Mr. I'd like to make that motion, sir, on number 4.
And then on number 5, we also, I think, need to hold off on that until the 9 o'clock meeting because there'll be quite a bit of information on that. But that is a motion to approve renewal, premium rates, and plan adjustments for the medical insurance plan. And then we would need to add number 6, which is the recommendation on hiring an architect to evaluate the county office building. And then number 7, which is what Gordon brought about the schools, on the agreements with the schools. And I believe that's everything, Mr. Chairman. We will need a closed session.
We went through that mighty quick.
Well, if you like, I can back up. I didn't think I'd have time. If you want to go over the public safety training facility, I could knock that. I think I could go over that. As you know, we've discussed the need for a training site for our fire, sheriff, and EMS employees. There is currently a fire burn structure at the jetport, and the sheriff leases land for a firing range. The jetport structure has not been used in about 8 years as it needs some major repairs. A couple of our volunteer fire departments have some training facilities as well. The City of Goldsboro and Seymour Johnson also have some facilities. The OES staff, Craig and I have been meeting with a working group appointed by the Wayne County Firefighters Association to discuss the need for a facility. We recently expanded that to bring in both Sheriff Pierce for law enforcement and Mrs. Beverly Deems, the Director over Public Safety Training at Wayne Community College. At the last meeting, the consensus of all of us was to hire an architect engineer to develop a master plan for a public safety facility on Wayne Community College property, shown on the attached map. And if you'll, she's got it called up here. It's the wooded area. So it's towards the back of the college, and then that the blue you see is that creek. I believe that's Stony Creek coming through there. So there's a large area of wooded area there that we think we can locate this facility in. Okay. The college is supportive of this idea as they already provide classes and certifications for law enforcement, fire, and emergency medical personnel. They are hamstrung in not having an on-site facility for the actual field training that accompanies the classroom instruction, as well as for continuing education for veteran personnel. The actual construction would need to take place over several budget years on a phased basis. This is not in the memo, but I want to stress this. Our intent is, if we move forward with this, is the county would do the construction. We would not go through state construction because we'd like to get built this century. So anyway, I just wanted to stress that is we would build it and turn it over to the college. All right, all volunteer fire departments are struggling to recruit firefighters. Having a solid training facility will make Wayne Community College a leader in this training, and its proximity to our volunteer fire department should help in this regard. In addition, Mrs. Deans informed us that in their EMT certification classes, the last semester is devoted to classes to obtain the Firefighter 1 designation. Thus, there is a larger pool of young people who will be given that training and then hopefully volunteer as firefighters. The trend, as we've studied this, is to put these facilities at a community college, as their function is to train and certify these personnel. That also assures the facilities will be kept up, as college facilities, as you all know, are maintained by the county. We've selected a 7-member working group comprised of the following people. Craig Honeycutt, Assistant County Manager, Mel Powers, OES Director, Larry Pierce, or his designee, Sheriff, Beverly Deems, Director of Public Safety Training at Wayne Community College, Ken Jones, who's the Chief of Pikeville Volunteer Fire Department and is also the Wayne County Firefighters Association President this year, Phil Shiver, who is the Chief of Indian Springs Volunteer Fire Department, and Chad Cobb, who's the Assistant Chief of Elroy Volunteer Fire Department and is also a captain on the Goldsboro Fire Department. This working group would interview and recommend an architectural firm to do this work, and Craig and I would negotiate the contract. In addition, they would visit other facilities to get ideas and work with the architect on the master plan. I'm recommending that you authorize me to proceed with a request for qualifications to hire an architect to develop a master plan for a public safety training facility to be located on property owned by Wayne Community College. And I do want to point out that Ms. Deans indicated that Dr. Walker is fully on board with this, and I also believe Mr. Aycock has had a discussion with him as well. So the college is solidly behind this, and we think it makes a lot of sense to put the facility right there. And that is the trend we're seeing as we've studied. We already have a bead on about 4 facilities we'd like to go look at, just like you guys did with the jail, and got a lot of ideas there. We want to do the same thing. This is not something we would build all at one time, but we would do a master plan and then do it in phases over several years. As we got all 3 of our public safety services a good facility. Now, the one thing we're not including at this point would be a firing range. We have that already with the Sheriff's Department in a more isolated setting, so we don't plan on changing that at this point. So that's basically an overview of it. The sheriff's here. He's been into meetings. Is Mel here? Mel is also here if you have any questions on that. And we've been discussing it with Wayne as the fire commissioner also. So does anybody have any questions on that? Okay.
Are there any other questions about today's agenda? If not, it's 8:31, and we'll convene the Wayne County Board of Equalization Review meeting. We ask Ms. Bowden to come up and administer oath.
All right, gentlemen, I'm honored to administer this oath. Please place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. And when I have finished reading, please respond, I do. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as a member of the Board of Equalization and Review of Wayne County, North Carolina, and that you will not allow your actions as a member of the Board of Equalization and Review to be influenced by personal or political friendships or obligations, so help you God.
I do.
Now I'd like to ask, is there anyone here to appeal a value? If no one's here, we'll ask Mr. Lumpkin for his report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning. As you know, this is our annual process. This is statutory, what we're doing here today. This is our Board of Equalization and Review. Each year, taxpayers have a right to appeal their property value, but as we've said in the past, our values do go back to 2011, when I had our last reappraisal. We are gearing up for our 2019 reappraisal, so we'll be starting working on that very soon. So we'll have that in place January 1, 2019. Currently, we have 22 parcels of land owned by 18 owners that are under appeal right now in our office. We're working on those currently. We will be working through those, and hopefully by the next meeting, we may have somebody that wants to appear before you if we don't come to a resolution in our office. If not, you can't hear these appeals as Board of Commissioners if we don't get them done by the next meeting. Are there any questions? Nobody wants to ask, can you appeal your property? Come on, Mr. Bell.
I've already cleared it.
If there isn't any question, we'll recess the Board of Equalization Review until April the 18th.
Correct. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Woods, anything else for this morning's briefing? If not, we can take a break.
We could take a break, or I can go over the, if you like, I can go over the medical insurance renewals. going to do that, or we can go into closed session.
Closed session, do that later.
Yeah, let's do closed session.
Closed session it is.
One thing I do need to give out is when I was going over the request for qualifications for the public safety training, we have a copy of that for you. So, hand these out.
Mr. Chairman, I move we go into closed session for the purpose of
Considering the qualifications, fitness, conditions of employment of an individual employee, discuss matters relating to the location of industries in Wayne County, and to consult with me, preserving attorney-client privilege.
Everyone's heard the motion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.